My name is Kristin Hardin, and I choose to write my paper on why minimum wage should be raised in order to promote our global economy. I believe that minimum wage should be raised for a few reasons. One being, I feel like it would help families. If people were making more money, they could, they could do other things with their life and stress over not making enough money, over making ends meet. I feel like if minimum wage were raised and people were making more money, families would have more time to have children. Maybe they would build up enough income to retire, and this would lead to other people getting jobs because they would take time off to raise their families because they had enough money, or retire, or vacation, or do things that they wanted to do because they had the funds to do them. In my research, I found out that someone making minimum wage can work 52 weeks a year, 40 hours a week, and only make $15,000 that year. And that's clearly not enough to stay above the poverty line. You can't support a family on $15,000 a year. You can barely support yourself on $15,000 a year with bills, phone, house bill, insurance, car payment. And those are things you need. I'm not saying go out and buy cable and shopping sprees every weekend, but the things you need, that's barely enough to get by, and it's definitely not enough to get by with family. Also, I believe that minimum wage should be raised because it would motivate people to work. So many people sit at home. What's the point? Minimum wage is so low, they're going to work, and the price of living is so high, they'll make no money. By the time they buy their groceries or things they need, there's nothing left. What's the point? I believe that raising minimum wage will lower the number of people receiving food stamps, receiving housing assistance, receiving all these benefits. They help out a lot, but I believe people would rather make the money that they need to get by, that they need to actually live off of, than be receiving food stamps or housing assistance, or those things are good. They're helpful, but I personally feel like it would be better if if the money was there, the funds were there. You have to work hard, whether you work in fast food, grocery stores. Those are usually minimum wage paying jobs. You work your butt off, and you really don't. You don't get major raises. I believe if you're going to work and you're going to work hard, whatever you do, you should make enough money to be able to go out, pay your house payment. You don't have to live in a mansion, but pay your house payment, pay your car payment, your phone bill, your groceries, and still have a little bit left over. And have a little bit left over to spoil yourself, kind of. You can't go crazy living off a minimum wage. If you want to go crazy, go to college, get a doctorate degree, and get a job doing that. But to be honest, unemployment is so high. Even people with college degrees, they're unemployed, and they are trying to get minimum wage jobs just to help them get by. I worked at Cookout. I worked in fast food all my life, really making minimum wage. And it's not just teenagers. There's a lot of older men and women working there. And so I worked with a girl, when she was working, her family was disabled. And she was working to help support them. She was going to school. She was working to help support her family. She wasn't making enough to do anything with. Paying for her school and helping her family, she was left with nothing. She was working just to spend it out, to have nothing left. I believe minimum wage should be raised in order to help people out. People want to do better. Not so much because they're making more money, but because they have money to do things with, to pay their bills, not be stressed. I believe when you're trying to work hard, when you're trying to do good, when you're trying to support yourself, I believe help us out a little bit. Raise the minimum wage so we don't have to struggle so much. I believe minimum wage, if it were to increase, that would lower the amount of food stamps the government would have to give out. It would lower the amount of housing assistance the government would have to dish out. It would lower all the extra benefits the government was giving. And I believe it would motivate people to do better with their lives. I believe you would be excited to get out of bed and go to work if you were making enough money to do something with, and not just barely enough to get by and it be gone after you get your groceries. But in conclusion, I agree that minimum wage should be raised in order to promote our global economy.